Hello, Star Fox here. I know I haven't been doing anything here on YouTube for a while, but this is something me and my little brother here wanted to do for a while. So, here we go. This is my brother Andy Martin, who
Hello.
he has his own channel on YouTube. Well, Andy Martin.
Yeah. I review cameras, and I've done one typewriter, and here we are. That's all I want to say.
And what we'll be reviewing today
Is Toy Story 3. Alex. I really think it's a great sequel to Toy Story 1 and 2. I really think it's a great film.
Okay, to start us off, I also have to say that this is... actually, before I go into that, let's go over the story first. As you might... After the first two films, which basically dealt with the adventures of, toys owned by a kid named Andy,
Hi!
who's not this kid, who has no toys,
I don't.
and is way less nice than that kid.
Yeah.
You say that, then you're gonna defend yourself when I said that.
I can't defend myself when it's true.
Oh my gosh. That being said, in this film, at this point, Andy is about 17 years old. He's about to go off to college, and he's not sure what to do with the toys, but eventually he decides to put them in the attic. However, a few mishaps ends up landing them all in daycare, where they end up kind of in a bit of a prison break film.
Because there is a stuffed bear named Lasso, smells like strawberries, that has really taken over Sunnyside Daycare and has just made it a
Prison?
Communism, really, I would guess.
If you want to.
It's a horrible place. You say anything bad about him, you're gone.
That's it. I'm not sure if it was kind of that extreme.
Yeah, but I'm trying to dramatize it.
Yeah. This film was made by Disney Pixar. It was directed by Lee Unkrich, who I think was chosen for the film by John Lasseter himself, who directed the first two films. I think Lee Unkrich had a hand in the second film, at least. That being said, it stars the voices of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, whoever voiced Jessie, who I keep forgetting her name. I think they never put the names of these.
Let's see.
I don't put the names of the voice actors. Joan Cusack, I think. Joan Cusack? I think. Oh my gosh. Okay, that being said, we have... And most of the other returning voices from the first two films. That being said, the first thing I really need to say about this film is definitely one of the most well-made films I've seen. Well written, well directed, well animated, and very well casted. I mean, I don't think I need to say anything about the incredible animation that's been done at Pixar over the last few years. They paid attention to pretty much all the details, even including the humans, which is kind of lacking in the previous two films.
Yeah. I would like to add to my brother is that there is so much craftsmanship in this film that it reminds me of old electronics and cameras. I mean, these directors poured in their blood, sweat, and tears to make an amazing picture.
Well, that's pretty well said. That being said, what else did you like about the film?
I just loved the story. It was such a heartwarming story and had such a happy ending.
You know, one of the really good things about this story is that it really came out at a good time for me, because I was about to graduate from college myself. I was pretty much one of those kids who almost grew up with Toy Story, although to be honest, I never really liked the first two until this one came out. I didn't really appreciate them until lately, because I don't remember why. But that being said, I guess I had a few more, this especially happened during my period of not liking animated films as a grumpy teenager.
Yeah. At the time it came out, he was into Star Wars and stuff.
Not really, actually. When the first one came out, I don't think I had even seen Star Wars yet, and the second one came out, I just didn't really want to see it. I was seeing plenty of animated films at the time,
Yeah.
though. Sorry, but of course. That being said, the story really has the really great things about the story is that it's a really great third part. It's a really good third act and a final act to the films, which is why I personally think it'd be a terrible idea if they made a fourth one. Would you want to see a fourth one?
Probably not, because they've already made. I mean, if they make a fourth one, they have a new kid that they have to personalize, and then they have They have a few new characters in it. And I just don't think... I think that this was an ending film, really.
This was a really good ending to the series,
Yeah.
so I don't see any reason to keep going with this. So, that being said, how about the characters?
I found a lot of the characters very lovable. Although, at some points, Mr. Potato Head is a little bit of a downer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are times where I found Woody a little too obnoxious about his points, especially the scene where he mentions daycare is a bad place, and Barbie gets all upset about it.
And then Lasso, I found him very lovable, at the same time very unlovable.
He's the villain, so that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I knew from that anyway. One of the really great things I could probably say about this one is probably the portrayal of Andy himself, because the way I see it, the first two films, he's basically just a kid playing with the toys. That's pretty much it. This one kind of really, at this point, he's not playing with the toys anymore, so they really have to try to figure out
His personality.
And so he gets a little bit more of something like that. Kind of, although I wouldn't say we learned too much about him, but I do like how he's portrayed more as a grown-up this time. Okay. I also like the story arc that Woody goes through. He obviously, this is a lot more his film, even though the other characters do have their parts in the film. Basically, Woody is sort of kind of learning to let go. He's sort of been there for Andy as to the point that it's almost like a parent letting go of their own child. And this is actually kind of metaphorical in the scene where Woody sees Andy saying goodbye to his mom as well.
One thing that I think is that, like Alex said, it is like, even though Andy is the owner of Woody, Woody is almost like Andy's parent at the same time, because he's been there for Andy. He's always been he's really been there the entire time through everything that has happened. And is there anything you would like to add?
Not really when it comes to Woody. But what do you think of Buzz in this film?
Buzz, oh.
Mostly comedy, actually.
I think my favorite part of Buzz is the Mexican Buzz.
Everybody likes that one.
Yeah.
You can't talk about Toy Story 3 without mentioning Spanish Buzz.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think I actually kind of liked him better when he was kind of more of a henchman to the bad guys. First off, he was an actual... Apparently, he's stronger than all the toys.
Well, can I tell this?
What?
Well, apparently, they get the manual from Buzz and they switch him to demo mode, which is like his factory labeling. And so after that, he becomes like Alex said, like a henchman to Lasso and all the villains in the story.
I think these people have seen this film. I don't think they're gonna need a lot of that explanation, to be honest.
Okay.
It's
I'm new to this. I've never done this before.
Okay. That being said, one of my favorite things about the second film was definitely actually back to Buzz. Sorry. Buzz was definitely... I thought of it more as a comedy character, with the focus being mostly on Woody. First off, their relationship was pretty much the center of Toy Story 1. Toy Story 2 definitely gave a good role to Buzz, but it was definitely more about Woody. And when it comes down to it, these films have been more about Woody. They've been more from his perspective, his reaction to what's going on. So here, it's really kind of the tying together of of his feelings for Andy. As for Buzz... Buzz is a good person, he's a good toy, and he's definitely great, and definitely has his moments. And Tim Allen definitely does a really good job with the voice.
Yeah.
One thing I definitely loved about the second film was the introduction of Jessie, though. She was, first off, a much better female character than... Who was it in the first film? Who was that?
Bo Peep?
I was hoping you wouldn't know.
Actually, whatever happened to Bo Peep anyway?
I think they sold her.
Oh.
So,
well,
that being said, Jessie Jessie was not only a fun character, but she was also probably one of the most compelling characters of Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 as well, because it actually follows her story arc as well, dealing with her fear of being abandoned. In the second film, it's established that she had an owner before going, well, to the toy collector, whoever he was. But unfortunately, the owner outgrew her and decided to put her up and give her away. So here she's kind of dealing a bit more with that and kind of accepting the fact that, and sort of getting used to Andy still, and probably, realizing kind of where she belongs and...
Can I add something?
What?
The story that you told about Jessie is not the one that I remember.
What do you mean?
But of course, I haven't watched Toy Story 2 in years, so...
Well, that's what happened.
Because I remember her falling off the bed, going under the bed, and then being forgotten.
That was basically it, yeah. And then she was given away when, like, the owner found her.
Oh.
Years later.
Oh, sorry, I haven't watched that film in like 2 years, so...
Yeah. That being said, what could we really say? So yeah, Jessie has a really good story arc here, but what can we really say about any of the other toys other than they do something?
The thing that I like most, I think, about these films and the entire series is that they did not just say, oh, well, Mr. Potato Head's a potato head, he's married to Miss Potato Head. And then in the second film, second or first film, they get alien children. That's now, they have a whole personality. Which is what I like about Pixar, is that they give so much detail in the characters.
Point taken. You know, two characters I really like are Rex and Slinky. Slinky mostly because I like his voice. You know, one thing to note is that the voice actor for him for the first two films died prior to being able to do this film. As a result, they had to replace him. The guy who voiced it for this film has said that he knew the guy and kind of felt like he passed the role on to him, but that's not much on my part, to be honest, to really think about that. What characters did you like besides the ones we mentioned?
Well, I love Jessie, Woody, and Buzz. Let's see. I really loved Slinky. That's probably one of my favorite characters, is Slinky. No.
You know, what about Bonnie and her toys? You know, they're pretty interesting.
Bonnie, I love the porcupine and the unicorn. Those are like my favorite ones of Bonnie's toys.
Out of Bonnie's toys, I definitely like the doll, who was voiced by Bonnie Hunt, by the way. A good voice actress as far as I'm concerned. I also voiced Sally in the Cars films.
Oh, I did not know that.
Really, the voices sound similar. That being said, then there was Trixie the Triceratops, who was obviously
a computer geek.
Yeah, that was pretty... I guess that's why I kind of liked her. She was so enthusiastic about technology. So she's one of those techno nerds, I guess you could say.
Techno nerd geek.
You know, somebody who probably would... someone who goes on message boards and plays online games.
Yeah.
Basically.
An online gamer.
Something like that, perhaps. That being said, you know, one of the interesting things I found about Bonnie's toys is that the writers have actually said that while Andy's toys kind of act as sort of an office, kind of a business, a company or something, you know, with the staff meetings and the sort of professional relationships, Bonnie's toys act more like a community theater or something, where they're more like actors hanging out and trying to be in character.
They're really like a community. They're not a business type area. They're very unlike Andy's toys. They're not very serious about getting caught because they're always in character.
Okay. What do you think of the dialogue and the writing? Did you like the lines?
I think it was very detailed.
Yeah. What was your favorite line?
When Lasso is about to throw them all into the garbage can.
I said favorite line. What
I know. I can't remember the line, but I know that's my favorite.
Okay. My favorite line was definitely where Rex and Porky. I think it's.
Ham.
Ham.
Yeah.
They decide to pretend to fight to trap Buzz because at this point he's been brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
And during their scuffle, Buzz pushes them apart and says, "You're not supposed to hit each other. That's my job."
No, you're not supposed to hit each other. Or hit.
That's my job. He says that.
Yeah, but isn't it you're not supposed to hit each other?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said hate.
Hit, yeah, hit.
Okay.
Yeah, I the way Tim Allen says that is just so funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the fact that, in fact, he says, "Oh, you can't do that. That's my job. I'm supposed to do something really mean." You know. That being said, what was your favorite scene?
Well, I would just like to add about Buzz doing that. I think that really represents how cocky he was in the first film when he first appears. Is how he's like, "I'm a space ranger. I've saved the galaxy."
Even without that, I think he was a little cocky anyway.
Yeah.
That being said, what was your favorite scene?
Ooh. When.
Guess I'm gonna go with the.
Oh, I think after I think it's the very last scene when the porcupine and one of the aliens are doing Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of my favorite scenes.
Then we'll go with the final scene itself, where Andy and Bonnie play with the toys, and then Andy leaves and even says, "Thanks, guys." At one point, I remember kind of tearing up a little bit when that scene happened. I remember my mom even said that she cried a little bit when his mother had to say goodbye to him. One of the really great things about this film is that it's a really relatable film, especially for parents, for children, because they're gonna have to grow up sometime, and everybody's gonna have to grow up, or they have already grown up, or they're gonna have to let their kids go, or they already let their kids go. So it's kind of so it's a very relatable film and a very emotional one at that too.
I would like to add is that it's a film that not only children can watch and enjoy, it's a film that adults and young adults can relate to because sooner or later, a lot of adults have had children who have gone to college, and a lot of young adults have had to give up toys that they've had since they were 2 years old. And I think...
But not so much us because we didn't have that many toys. Have we?
I had a lot of toys, I just never really played with them.
I had plenty of toys. I don't know what happened to any of them anymore.
Mine are in boxes downstairs, but...
I used my video games a lot more. We are such... Yeah, we... Hey, I grew up in the 90s, okay?
And I grew up in the 2000s, which I don't know how that...
I think a lot more people can relate to that one.
Yeah, but... I grew up watching, because my family's the Disney Pixar family, and we love Disney. I think that's all I can sum up. And I've watched every Pixar film imaginable that you can name right now. So
Did you see A Bug's Life?
Yeah.
Really?
I've watched A Bug's Life. I've watched both Cars movies. So I'm like a Disney freak. I am, and so. I think this is a film that I loved a lot more because I grew up watching films like this.
Okay. I have to be honest, Toy Story 3 is not really one of my favorite films, but I admit it deserves all the recognition it's gotten. And just because it's mostly because there are a few films I just find myself getting more into, especially Pixar films. To be honest, sort of like Ratatouille and WALL-E, but still, and Toy Story 3, it's a really great one. Okay,
it is.
It deserved pretty much every bit of recognition it got. I remember one reviewer, maybe even plenty of reviews, but I think it was one reviewer at least named Anime, who said this film wasn't really made for kids. It was made for the adults who grew up with the first two films.
I think that that person who said that really summed up what this film is, what the audience it's supposed to reach. Because the first two films were kind of kid films, they were made for young children, and I think this film was made for the young children who watched it when they were children. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was really made for, because a whole generation grew up in 1997 when the first Toy Story film came out. Was that 97?
I think so, maybe.
And
maybe you have 94, actually.
And a whole generation came out with that first movie, and I think this film was not for their children, but for the children who grew up with it.
exactly. That being said, I guess another thing to talk about is probably the score. A very beautiful score. It's the same iconic score we got from the first two films, but it works, and it definitely works for the tone of the film.
I have to ask something. I've never done a movie review. What is a score?
The music, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Music in the background.
I think that, and I didn't even notice the music in the background. I think that's how good this film was. You didn't even notice that there was music in the background, and I certainly did not. But what was your favorite song?
Oh, song?
Uh-huh.
It's not so much the songs as the background music.
Yeah, there wasn't many songs, but there was like two at the end.
I think so. To be honest, the Toy Story songs had never really gotten too much to me that much.
Mine is You Got a Friend in Me. That's in Spanish.
That's a good song at least, so I'll give it that one. That being said, do you have anything else to say about the film?
I think to sum up how I feel about this film in a very simple way is that it is awesome. It is just awesome.
Okay.
I love this film.
How would you rate this film?
Like on a score of 1 to 10 or what?
Sure, go ahead.
9.5.
I'll go with 9. That being said, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to hear your opinions on this film as well. Please comment below.
Bye. Should I press the button now?
Yes.